While the world is busy arguing about Donald Trump's tweets or Elon Musk's rockets, they are completely missing the man who is actually moving the pieces on the board. We call Elon the techno king and Trump the president, but there is a shadowy figure standing behind both of them who has quietly engineered the entire modern political landscape. He is the man who made Mark Zuckerberg a billionaire. He is the man who built the surveillance software that the CIA uses to track terrorists, and maybe you. And he is the man who single-handedly bankrolled the career of the new vice president, J.D. Vance, from a total nobody into the second most powerful man in America. His name is Peter Thiel, and he doesn't want to be famous. He wants to be the architect. While other billionaires buy yachts, Thiel buys governments. While others build apps, Thiel builds intelligence agencies. He has constructed a web of influence so dense and so complex that whether you are scrolling Facebook, using PayPal, or voting in an election, you are operating inside a system he designed. I need you to understand the scale of this. This isn't just about money. It is about a specific ideology, a belief that freedom and democracy are no longer compatible. Peter Thiel is betting on a future where democracy fails, and he is positioning himself to be the one who picks up the pieces. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how a chess prodigy from Germany hacked Silicon Valley, captured the Republican Party, and built a shadow state that operates above the law. But to see where he is taking us, we have to go back to the moment he realized that the only way to win the game is to rewrite the rules. To understand the man who is quietly reprogramming America, you have to look at the glitch in his childhood. Peter Thiel wasn't raised in the soft comfort of American suburbia. He spent his formative years in South Africa and Namibia during the height of apartheid. He attended a German school where students wore strict uniforms and teachers used rulers to beat the hands of children who stepped out of line. I want you to picture that. A young boy, a math prodigy, watching a brutal, authoritarian system operate in real time. Most kids would have been traumatized. Thiel was analyzed. He learned a lesson that would define his entire career. Authority is arbitrary, and systems are just code waiting to be cracked. He escaped into the worlds of Dungeons & Dragons and Tolkien, naming his future companies Palantir, Mithril, Valar, after the magical artifacts of Middle-earth. But the real weapon he found wasn't a sword, it was a philosophy. At Stanford, he discovered a French thinker named René Girard, who taught him the secret of mimetic theory. Girard argued that human beings don't have original desires. We just copy what other people want. We are sheep. And if you are the only one who knows that everyone else is a sheep, you become the wolf. This realization was the red pill moment. Thiel realized that while everyone else in Silicon Valley was competing to build the same websites, he could win by betting on the opposite. He founded the Stanford Review just to disrupt the campus narrative. He became a chess master by seeing the moves nobody else was looking for. He realized that competition is for losers. The real winners build monopolies where nobody else is playing. This is the dangerous idea that he is now applying to the US government. He isn't trying to win an election. He is trying to build a political monopoly. But to do that, he needed an army. He needed a group of ruthless, like-minded geniuses who would follow him into battle. And he found them in a small, failing startup that was about to change the world. This is the part of the story where the PayPal mafia is born. Most people think PayPal was just a payment app. It wasn't. It was a training ground for the new ruling class. We are building a community here that tracks this network. We are racing to hit 1,000 subscribers by December 31st, 2025. If we hit that goal, I'm going to release the killer video, a script that exposes the specific financial mechanism this network uses to move money without government oversight. I am afraid to upload it, But if we have 1,000 insiders, I will take the risk. So if you want to see the blueprint, hit that subscribe button right now. Now, let's meet the mafia. In 1998, Peter Thiel founded a company called Confinity, which later merged with Elon Musk's X.com to become PayPal. On the surface, it was a way to send money by email. But in Thiel's mind, it was a libertarian project designed to break the government's control over currency. It was their first attempt to hack the dollar. The project succeeded. eBay bought it for $1.5 billion in 2002. But the money wasn't the real payout. The real payout was the network. Most founders take their cash and retire to a beach. Thiel kept the team together. This group became known as the PayPal Mafia. It includes Elon Musk, Tesla, SpaceX, Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn, the founders of YouTube, and the founders of Yelp. Thiel was the dawn of this mafia. He realized that if they pooled their capital, their data, and their influence, they wouldn't just build companies. They could build the entire infrastructure of the future. They didn't just invest in startups, they invested in each other, creating a closed-loop cartel that now controls how you travel, Tesla Uber, how you work, LinkedIn, how you watch video, YouTube, and how you spend money. Think about the power dynamics here. You have a tight-knit group of men who all share the same contrarian, anti-establishment worldview, and they now control the primary communication and transportation channels of the Western world. Thiel used his share of the PayPal windfall to make the single most important investment in modern history, a $500,000 check to a college kid named Mark Zuckerberg. That investment turned into Facebook. It gave Thiel a board seat and the ear of the man who controls the social lives of 3 billion people. He wasn't just buying equity, he was buying access to the human psyche. But while his friends were busy building consumer apps to keep you scrolling, Thiel turned his eyes towards something much darker. He realized that the war on terror had created a new market, a market for total information awareness. He saw that the government was drowning in data, but blind to the patterns. So he took the anti-fraud software they built at PayPal, the code designed to track criminals, and he repurposed it to track everyone. This was the birth of Palantir, the company that would turn Peter Thiel from a wealthy investor into a geopolitical weapon. In 2003, while the rest of Silicon Valley was obsessed with search engines and social networks, Peter Thiel was meeting with the CIA. The war on terror was in full swing, and the intelligence community had a massive problem. They had too much data. They had intercepts, financial records, satellite photos, and tip lines, but it was all siloed in different databases that couldn't talk to each other. They were drowning in information, but starving for intelligence. Thiel's solution was Palantir. He named it after the Seeing Stones in The Lord of the Rings, magical artifacts that allow their user to see anything, anywhere in the world, past or present. It was an arrogant name, but it was accurate. Palantir isn't AI. It is something much more powerful. It is an operating system for the state. It takes all those disconnected databases, from the FBI, the NSA, the DHS, local police departments, and even corporate records, and ingests them into one central brain. It then allows an analyst to see the hidden connections between a phone call in Yemen, a credit card transaction in London, and a shipping manifest in New York. It was initially funded by In-Q-Tel, the CIA's venture capital arm. Think about that. A private company, owned by a libertarian billionaire who believes democracy is obsolete, was seed-funded by the American spy apparatus. Today, Palantir is used by the military to target drone strikes, by ICE to track undocumented immigrants, and by police departments for predictive policing. It has become the central nervous system of the surveillance state. Yet it is a private corporation with zero democratic oversight. Its contracts are classified, its algorithms are secret, and its loyalty is to its shareholders, not the Constitution. Peter Thiel didn't just build a company, he privatized Big Brother. But here is the truly terrifying part. Palantir was just the tool. To complete his vision, Thiel needed someone inside the system to wield it. He didn't just want to be a government contractor. He wanted to be the government's boss. And to do that, he needed to find the perfect political weapon. A clean slate he could mold from scratch. By 2016, Peter Thiel had conquered Silicon Valley and the intelligence community. But he knew that to truly rewrite the rules of society, he needed direct control over the laws themselves. He didn't want to be a lobbyist begging for favors. He wanted to be the kingmaker. And to do that, he needed a protege, someone he could mold from scratch and place into the highest levels of power. He found his weapon in a Yale law student named J.D. Vance. This wasn't a random political endorsement. This was a decade-long grooming process. Thiel met Vance in 2011, hired him at his investment firm, Mithril Capital, and funded his venture capital career. Then, when the moment was right in 2022, Thiel didn't just donate to Vance's Senate campaign. He single-handedly bankrolled it. He dropped a historic $15 million into a super PAC for Vance, the largest amount ever given to a single Senate candidate at the time. He physically marched Vance into Mar-a-Lago to make peace with Donald Trump, brokering the alliance that would eventually put his protege a heartbeat away from the nuclear codes. Think about the precision of that move. Most billionaires donate to whoever is winning. Thiel picked a long shot, funded him entirely, and now has a direct line to the vice presidency that bypasses the entire Washington establishment. He did the same thing with Blake Masters in Arizona. He is building a Thiel network inside the US Senate. He isn't betting on democracy. He is buying shares in the government. This brings us to the ultimate question about influence. We celebrate visionaries like Musk and Jobs, but Thiel operates in the shadows. So, I want to know what you think. Is Peter Thiel a visionary who is saving the West from stagnation? Or is he a villain who is auctioning off our democracy to the highest bidder? Go to the comments right now and type just one word: visionary or villain. I read every comment, and I want to know if you think this is genius or treason. But here's the twist. Even with his man in the White House, Thiel isn't planning to stay in America. He has already built an escape hatch for when the system finally breaks. Here is the part of the story that should make you question everything. Peter Thiel has spent millions buying American politicians, shaping American intelligence, and influencing American culture. But if he is so invested in the future of the United States, why did he secretly buy a doomsday bunker on the other side of the planet? In 2011, Thiel was quietly granted citizenship in New Zealand. He didn't have to live there for the required 5 years. He didn't even have to visit the country to get the passport. The New Zealand government granted it to him under exceptional circumstances because of his wealth. He then purchased a 477-acre estate in Wanaka, a remote, pristine area on the South Island. This isn't a vacation home. It is apocalypse insurance. In Silicon Valley, New Zealand is known as the lifeboat. It is the place where the tech elite plan to go when the systems they disrupted finally collapse. They know that AI, automation, and social polarization, the very forces they unleashed, are eventually going to cause mass civil unrest. And when the pitchforks come out in San Francisco and New York, Thiel plans to be watching it on a screen from his fortress in the Southern Hemisphere. This aligns perfectly with his most controversial public statement. In a 2009 essay for the Cato Institute, Thiel wrote the words that define his entire worldview. "I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible." Read that again. He believes that as democracy expands, as more people get to vote, they will inevitably vote to take money away from the rich. Therefore, freedom for the elite can only exist if democracy is bypassed or dismantled. He isn't trying to fix America. He is trying to hack it. He views the nation-state as an outdated operating system. He has poured millions into the Seasteading Institute, a project designed to build floating cities in international waters that are free from any government laws or taxes. His ultimate goal is the exit. He wants to create a sovereign space where innovators like him can rule like kings, unburdened by the pesky complaints of voters or labor unions. He is playing a double game, using the power of the US government to build his fortune, while simultaneously building an escape hatch to leave the moment that government starts to fail. And this brings us to the final chapter, the philosophy that explains exactly how he plans to win the endgame. If you want to know how this movie ends, you just have to read the script he already wrote. In 2014, Peter Thiel published a book called 0 to 1. It became the Bible of Silicon Valley. Most people think it's a guide on how to build a startup. It isn't. It is a manifesto on how to build a kingdom. The core thesis of the book is simple. Competition is for losers. If you are competing with other companies, you are fighting for scraps. The only way to truly win, to go from 0 to 1, is to build a monopoly so dominant that you have no competition at all. Thiel has applied this philosophy to everything he touches. PayPal was the monopoly on payments. Palantir is the monopoly on surveillance. And now, through his network of politicians like Vance, he is trying to build a monopoly on governance. He envisions a future that looks less like a democracy and more like techno-feudalism. A world where a handful of enlightened techno-king founders rule over the masses, using algorithms to maintain order and efficiency. In his mind, he isn't the villain. He is the adult in the room, taking the keys away from a society that is too chaotic to drive itself. We are moving into a world where the line between corporation and state has vanished. The man who holds the data holds the power, and Peter Thiel holds all the data. He isn't just playing 4D chess. He owns the board. He owns the pieces. And he wrote the rulebook. This brings us back to our mission. We are the only ones reading the rulebook back to him. We are building a community that tracks these moves in real time. And we have a goal. We are racing to hit 1,000 subscribers by December 31st, 2025. If we hit that number, I am going to release the killer video. This is the script I have already written that exposes the specific offshore financial mechanisms this network uses to move capital without government oversight. I am genuinely afraid to upload it because it attacks the plumbing of the system. But if we hit 1,000 insiders, I will take the risk. Before I let you go, I want to talk to you directly. Just you and me. I know this story sounds terrifying. The idea that one man can quietly capture the vice presidency, the intelligence community, and the public square via his PayPal mafia connections makes democracy feel fragile. It makes you feel like your vote doesn't matter. But here is the flaw in Thiel's logic. He believes that systems can be perfectly controlled. He believes that if you have enough data, you can predict the future. But human beings aren't code. We are unpredictable. We are messy. And when we wake up to the game, we change the outcome. That is why I make these videos. They operate in the shadows because they rely on your apathy. They rely on you scrolling past the headlines. But you are here. You are watching. You are the glitch in their simulation. Knowledge is the only countermove we have. When you see the strings, you can't be a puppet. So, let's keep watching. Let's keep tracking. Let's make sure that if they want to change the world, they have to do it while we are looking right at them. So, if you are with me, if you want to be the glitch in the system, hit that subscribe button. Let's stay awake. Class dismissed.